Think about this if you guys have seen Rick and Morty, it's kind of like that where he said there's infinite versions of you and they're all existing on a contingent timeline. Like all of the timelines are lined up happening at the same exact time. But whatever version of that you're thinking of, it's coexisting with you running at the same exact time right now. But because we are not consciously there, physically there, it's technically doesn't exist. But in the sense of the metaphysical and frequency, if we align ourselves with the frequency of said version of ourselves, it takes time to adjust, but we basically fine tune to it. Like it's almost like it's a channel. Everybody's favorite type of homework, as I would like to call it, is going to be question 1, A, B, and C. Who do you want to be? How do you get there? And why do you want to be that person? And then what are the steps you need to take to get there, which is going to be 2 ABC, 3 ABC, 4 ABC. You know what I'm saying? There's a couple more things in there, but you know, that's pretty much the gist. Oh yeah, we getting started. Good weekend, y'all. Good weekend. It's the man GitzCuddy UNHINGED. What's happening? And guess what? We watching today. You see this lonely man here looking pretty upset with his life. He got a nice plant right here, though. We have psychology of people who buy things they don't need, which we are all guilty of. Let's see it by Easy Psychology, the little 5 subscribers, something slight, starting fresh and brand new. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you a good view and a like, push you in the algorithm, my guy. But we all know how this shit works. We all buy things we don't need typically. Food is included in that. So yeah, we all do. Guaranteed. So we're just gonna look into the mind frame and see why that works and what it does for us and possibly how we can break out of it if we want to try and change our lives. Let's see what you got, Easy Psych.
There's a version of you that wakes up early, goes to the gym, speaks a little French, has the kind of apartment that looks intentional, not accidental, and somewhere in your purchase history, in the yoga mat that never left its bag, the language app you opened twice, the linen throw pillow that was supposed to mean something, that version of you is still waiting to arrive. We don't.
Man, already hitting a little bit of facts. Now, personally, because I have Gen Z TikTok brain without even using the app that frequently, I have to speed this up because it's 9:43. So let me go ahead. What's the next one? Oh, no. Yeah, 1.25. We ain't gonna go too crazy, but you know, just because this is a sounds like this is a recorded, like an automated AI, like the speech, one of them speech apps that do it for you, not somebody talking. So that's also another reason why, primarily, if I should say,
buy
that's my
things.
the
We buy the
psychology of me
people
not
we're
wanting to
trying to
hear a fake
become.
voice.
And here's what nobody tells you about why that purchase never actually gets you there. Most
And it
people
almost
frame
sounds regular speed
overspending
now.
as a willpower problem, a discipline problem. I really need to delete the app problem. But
The delete app was on the back. Well, I know you're trying to get us to see it, but you could have like popped it on
research
the
in
side. I'm
consumer
just saying.
psychology
Oh,
tells a
this might
different
be an
story.
AI channel.
Dr. Hazel Marcus at Stanford University spent decades studying what she called possible selves, the mental representations we hold of who we could be, who we're afraid of becoming, and who we desperately want to turn into. Her research found that these possible selves aren't just idle fantasies. They function as active psychological motivators. And when the gap between who we are
Mm.
and who we want to be feels unbearable, the brain reaches for the fastest shortcut it can find. Not.
Ooh, okay. Now, think about this. If you guys have seen Rick and Morty, it's kind of like that where he said there's infinite versions of you, and they're all existing on a contingent timeline. Like all of the timelines are lined up happening at the same exact time. Like for example, there's a version of GitzCuddy where I already have plenty of subs. Like you know, this is my job. There's a version of me who is there's just like whatever version of that you're thinking of, it's coexisting with you running at the same exact time right now, but because we are not consciously there, physically there, it's technically doesn't exist. But in the sense of the metaphysical and frequency, if we align ourselves with the frequency of said version of ourselves, it takes time to adjust, but we basically fine tune to it. Like it's almost like it's a channel. So it's just like, say you're channel 5 right now, right? If you want to be you trying to go from out of shape to in shape, the in shape version of you is a possibility. It's not like a, oh, I wish I could be that. It's just, you can be slash you are already. because it's something in your brain. It's something that's already existing within your mental. So all you got to do is click, fine tune, which will adjust the things that you need for that to become the reality. It's just that you have to hop between channels. You can't just go from channel 5 to 8. You know what I mean? You got to go from 5 to 6, etc. But yeah, that's how I would see the ideal. What does it say? The ideal self gap right there.
Therapy, not change. A purchase. This is what psychologists call the actual self versus ideal self gap. The distance between the person living your life right now and the person you believe you're supposed to be. That gap is uncomfortable. It produces low-grade shame, restlessness, the feeling that you're running slightly behind on a timeline no one gave you. And the brain, which is wired to resolve discomfort as quickly as possible, discovers something remarkable. Buying an object associated with the ideal self temporarily closes that gap, not because anything changed, because the nervous system briefly believes it did. The yoga mat isn't a yoga mat.
Oh,
It's a down payment on a person.
yeah, it's like it makes you feel closer to that ideal self. It's just like, oh, I want to be more in shape. You buy the dumbbells because you know the version of you that is in shape works out. So you buy the dumbbells, like, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying, I'm technically that guy still. You know what I mean? So he says a down payment on your. I think he's saying ideal self.
Who has their life together. But
Oh,
here's where it gets
okay, yeah.
genuinely disturbing. The moment the package arrives, the dopamine drops. Not gradually, immediately, because the anticipation was never about the object. Neuroscientists studying reward circuitry have documented that the peak of pleasure in the shopping cycle isn't receiving the purchase. It's the click of the buy button. It's the hunt, the add to cart. The browser tab left open for 3 days while you talk yourself into it. The human brain
Oh,
evolved in an environment where finding resources meant survival. And that ancient hunter-gatherer circuitry doesn't know the difference between tracking prey across a field and tracking a sale across 4 different websites. The search is the reward. What arrives in the
that
box is just
why that rabbit looks so happy to be caught? Like, yay, you got me on the end of a spear though. Like,
clutter
dang.
waiting to happen. This is what researchers call anticipatory dopamine, the neurochemical spike that fires not when we get what we want, but when we believe we're about to. And it explains something that anyone who's ever online shopped at midnight already knows. The high is in the scroll, not the package on the porch. So they buy it, and it arrives. And for a moment, it's real. The candle, the jacket, the course they'll definitely finish this time. They arrange it, photograph it maybe, feel briefly like the person who owns this thing. And then, nothing shifts. The apartment still feels like theirs. The morning still feels like theirs. The
Mm-mm.
gap is still there, untouched, waiting.
Yeah, you don't really like actually fix it because it's just like you feel like, oh yeah, I'm finna get that shit. I'm finna get it, and then it shows up, and you're like, yay, and then now it's over with. Like, damn, well, like, so how am I supposed to fill the gap? I guess we're about to hop into that part next. No, I'm speeding this up though because I thought 1.25 was gonna do it. Now 1.5, if it sounds crazy, I'm gonna drop it back.
And somewhere around day 3, the object stops being a promise and starts being furniture. Evidence of a version of themselves that never quite showed up. And this is where loneliness enters the picture, because it almost always does. Research published in the Journal of Consumer Research found that people experiencing social isolation are significantly more likely to engage in compensatory consumption, not because they're shallow, because the nervous system, when deprived of human connection, begins searching for substitutes that feel solid. Brands become familiar. Objects become companions. The ritual of purchasing, browsing, choosing, anticipating, receiving, provides a structured emotional experience in a life that might feel structureless. It's not weakness.
Bruh.
It's a nervous system doing what nervous systems do when the thing they
Bro, it's so crazy how they like like regular daily things can play such a game on you. Like it's just normal stuff that we think that is typical day-to-day living or like, you know, adjustments that we're making. Like you said, it's just like you have that pursuit of being able to achieve the things that you're trying to achieve or things that you want. But the moment that you get it, it's just like, oh yeah, I have it now. And it just doesn't really do too much for you. Because now it's just like it's just another item in the house, basically. It's not really a thing to go after anymore, not like its own goal set up on a platform.
they actually
It's
need
crazy,
isn't
bro.
available. Some researchers go even deeper. Terror management theory, developed by psychologists Jeff Greenberg, Sheldon Solomon, and Tom Piszczynski, proposes that a significant portion of human behavior, including consumption, is driven by subconscious awareness of our own mortality. We buy things to feel significant, to leave a mark, to construct an identity substantial enough to feel like it matters. A person with a carefully
Mm-hmm.
curated home, a wardrobe with a point of
Mm-hmm.
view, a collection of objects that say something. That person feels, on some pre-verbal level, more real, more permanent.
Bro, that is sick. It's just like the way, because it's like you can't make an impact or like make it, as he said, make a mark. It's not really making a mark without providing something that is worth mention. Isn't you just buying something is not going to make that mark. You have to put in like work, pieces of the work, be able to craft some sort of a story of your own rather than being like, oh yeah, I just went online and I found it and I finally bought it. Because as you can see, he's still, the weight of being is making him very sad. It's not really, this ain't really helping him out too much because this is like, well, I'm still just a random guy walking around. But like, if you want to do something great, you're gonna have to put the pieces together and take them steps to get there. It don't just happen by buying some shit.
More protected against the terrifying randomness of being alive. The object isn't just a down payment on the ideal self. It's evidence that the self exists at all, restless but searching, spending but never arriving, filling the space but never filling the feeling. That is the person whose cart is actually a map of their interior life. Not irresponsible, not broken, running a very old program on very new hardware, in a world that has weaponized that program and turned it into a business model. The first time it happens, it feels like self-investment. I'm treating myself. I'm building the life I want. There's almost a logic to it. Successful people have nice things, so acquiring the things is a step toward becoming the person. But somewhere along
He can't really, that's not really building up too well either because you're gonna put this, there's nothing to balance this on. It's gonna fall apart as soon as you put that shit on there because you don't have no solid foundation. There's just, this is just random shit right here. So of course it's not built with great structure because the life you want is being built on nothing. You know what? I guarantee he didn't do that on purpose, but you know, I just made something out of it.
But
You feel
somewhere along the
me?
way, the equation stops adding up. The things accumulate. The person doesn't change. And what's left is this quiet, specific confusion. I have everything I thought I wanted, and I still feel exactly like myself. They grieve sometimes, the money that went toward versions of themselves that never materialized. The camera for the photography hobby that lasted a month. The meditation cushion. The bread maker. Each one a small funeral for a possible self that didn't survive contact with reality.
That is
Not because they were
morbid.
lazy or lying to themselves, because the object was never capable of delivering what the purchase promised. The transformation was always going to happen somewhere the credit card couldn't reach. Somewhere between who they are and who they're trying to buy their way into being. There is a person, already whole, already real, who got convinced that the gap could be closed from the outside. It can't. But somehow they're still here, still trying, still adding things to a cart that has never once delivered the thing they were actually shopping for. And maybe that's not a flaw. Maybe that's just what hope looks like when it doesn't know where else to go. If you've ever bought something and felt the high evaporate before it even arrived, if your home is full of objects that belong to a version of you that never quite showed up, you're not alone in that. If you saw yourself somewhere in the unopened package, the abandoned hobby, the cart that never quite delivered, drop a comment with the one thing you bought that was really about something else. Subscribe.
Damn, I really thought he was gonna have like a good turnaround and tell you how to get there, but it's okay because I'll provide my perspective on how I think you're supposed to get there. So boom, right? Rather than being the let me buy this yoga mat, and then you never open it up. Look at the version of yourself that is as a master of yoga. What does that look like? Now, everybody's favorite type of homework, as I would like to call it, is going to be question 1A, B, and C. Who do you want to be? How do you get there? And why do you want to be that person? Or in a different order. And then, what are the steps you need to take to get there? Which is going to be 2ABC, 3ABC, 4ABC. You know what I'm saying? So you keep answering all them questions to build. It's like putting pieces of a puzzle together. And it's not linear because, you know, building a puzzle is not linear. It's all over the place. You know what I'm saying? This did the fucking Doctor Strange on your ass. Gonna do some magical shit here. But once you grab them pieces, put them all together, you will create the big picture in completion and be like, this is who I am. This is how I got here. these are the steps I took to become this, and how I'm going to maintain keeping it going forward. There's a couple more things in there, but you know, that's pretty much the gist. But that's how you break that monotonous cycle of I want to be slash how do I become this, rather than just buying stuff to fill that gap. Because you can see there's no determined bottom to that gap. You can just see it from the outside. Like, oh, okay, no, not that. That looks sad, but this right here. How do you bridge the gap? And I basically just built the bridge for you with that example I gave you. But outside of that, man, that's all I can get out of this video, because he was ending it with his subscribes and whatnot. And catch you in this next one, bro. Peace.